My biggest goal for 2025 is to make my ideas happen in reality quicker than they did in 2024. Now, in the first half of the year, I had very strong goals and convictions, and then like 2 months in, nothing really happened. I was good, like I was consistent for about a couple months, a couple weeks, and then I kept taking very long breaks. Hence why my channel looks the way that it does. So for the past couple months, I've basically been speed running all of my crochet goals. And so now I'm gonna show you everything I've made as a beginner. I am a beginner. I crocheted one hat like 2 years ago and it wasn't really that good, but technically I did start like actually really crocheting in November. One time I told my mom what I was making and she was like, why's it gotta have ears on it? I don't know. I'm not one of those, you know, I'm not one of those people. But yeah, this was one of the things that made me realize that I can crochet very fast. Like, cause the first time I tried to make this, it took me weeks and weeks and weeks. This took me a day. I finished this in a day. Really, it was a night because I started it at like 8 p.m. and I think I finished at like midnight. Me finishing that was like my motivation to keep crocheting. And since then, I mean, I have plenty versions of a cat beanie. I made a green one in my last video. Yeah, a lot of those. I don't know why they have to have ears on them. I should just make a regular beanie. It's just cute. It's just cute that way. I'm pretty sure the next thing that I made was this bonnet. It's a lot of rows of doing like the same exact thing. It seems like it's more rows than the cat beanie. It might not be. That might just be my delusion. It is like a granny bonnet, Mormon bonnet. That's what I call it. Is that wrong? Is that messed up to call it a Mormon bonnet? That's what it looks like to me. I didn't mean to make it look so like granny-ish though. I should have chose a completely different color. Making it gray makes it look so old, and this shade of gray specifically like flushes me out to the highest extent. So like I like it. I like that I made this, but I wish I had made it like a bright, funky, fun color instead of like gray and white. When I made it, I thought that this like border would save it, but it just made it more 80-year-old grandma-ish. It's on the more boring side to crochet, I would say, just because it's the same thing over and over and over again, and I'm like, ugh, when is it gonna be over? But super cute, fits my big head kind of. It actually is kind of small for my head, which is kind of embarrassing. Anyway, moving on. Again, this is like so very much, that's not how you start a sentence. I can't make identical gloves for some reason, because if you look at these, they're two completely different sizes. Like this one's super small and this one's just humongous. So like both times I made the pattern completely wrong. This was the first one and somehow I don't know why it's so wide. And then this one I tried to make it without watching like the pattern tutorial. I guess it's because I'm a beginner. I'm not good at like following just written instructions. I'm more of a visual learner. So like I can only do things from videos. And I don't know, I did what the girl did, but mine is like wide for some reason. Where is the other glove? Oh, okay. My bad. So the thing about me, whenever I crochet something, I always do it at least 2 times just so I can like, cause you know, the first time is the test run. The first time you've never done it before, you don't know if it'll be good. Second time, you're more experienced, you know what you're doing. That sounds kind of sus. Anyway, here are the second pair of gloves that I made, which are more similar in size, but still slightly off. They're not symmetrical. So this one, I did like the surface stitch pattern on it. I did 2 flowers. The more that I look at them, they kind of look like broccoli with this like ruffled edge on them. I don't know why exactly I did that. I think I did the curly hem on the hat that I just showed you on the bonnet, and then I became obsessed with like doing curly like cute little borders on things, so that's why I did this. It's kind of like a weird color, I feel like, to make it, but the slip stitch is actually like a lot easier to do. Only thing is I tried to draw like the outline to crochet on. Like I tried to draw the flower first before I crocheted it, and it's still like the marker is still on there. I don't know why I used a regular marker. That was the mistake. But yeah, I just like freehand did this, like most of it, because once I tried the marker and I realized it doesn't come off, I was just like, okay, I can't do that. And so I just did it freehand. I still don't know what I'm doing wrong to make the gloves not the same size. Maybe I need to just watch the video all the way through and follow along, because again with these, for one of the glove, I tried to do it like on my own just by remembering the pattern and like reading the little typed out version of it, and then the other one I watched the video. Like I did the same mistake that I did with the first pair. I need to just watch the video all the way through both times and make the gloves. I don't know, I guess that's just like a beginner thing, I don't know. Okay, I feel like whenever I make YouTube videos I talk so fast and I don't know why. I think I'm trying to get my thoughts out as soon as possible so I don't forget them. Another thing that I made in pairs are these cute little flower chokers. I actually made these for my birthday in December, but I didn't end up wearing them because, I didn't end up wearing them because the shirt that I ended up wearing had a tie on it anyway. But I made these to go with like, they were last minute. I made them like the day before my birthday. I kind of wish I had made this string like a bit thicker because I don't like the look of like a single chain on crochet works, like on clothing. I feel like it looks kind of like crafty, which it is a craft. Does that make sense? It looks kind of like not tacky, but it looks less professional. It looks less like, I don't know. Anyway, I really have no like concept of like what's a beginner project and what's not, but it does seem like I've kind of been all over the place with the projects that I've made, because this is something you should do like day one, maybe like first week. Like this is very simple, but this is like after I made this after having done like most of this stuff over here, so I don't know, kind of moving backwards. But yeah, super easy, super cute. That was such a YouTuber thing to say. YouTubers always love to call things like super cute, super easy. I love this. Stunning. You have to have it. You have to try it. This is kind of like special mention. I made my cat a hat. She doesn't really like to wear it, but my cat likes me enough to where she'll wear it for like 10 seconds and then she'll crash out. I accidentally sewed the like neck strap on the wrong way. It should be facing this way, but it's this way. 30 minutes maybe a bit less to make this. Super easy. Great way to annoy your pet if you want to make one. The next thing I made were these star earmuffs. I wear these every day. Ever since I made these earmuffs, I wear them like every single day. The only thing about these is because there's no band, like there's no hard headband in this, they do kind of slip off easily. The tighter I tie it here at the bottom, it does stay a bit more secure, but it's not as secure as it could be. Realistically, I thought about like hot gluing or like super gluing a band in here, like on the outside. Oh, or could I put an elastic in there and then create another band and then sew it on top of it? I don't know, but I probably won't do all that, to be honest. It's fine, but it's just, if you're gonna make this pattern, I didn't realize with the girl's tutorial that I followed, she did have like bobby pins holding it down on her head, and I should have known then that it wouldn't be that sturdy on my head, but I guess I just didn't notice on the first watch. If I could remake this, I would make this part shorter, a little bit shorter, and then if anything, they're a cute accessory. I would say the stars, making stars is probably the hardest thing that I've done thus far as a beginner crocheter, just because it's so many different, it's not even like so many different stitches, it's a completely different pattern every round, and you have to like keep up with the numbers that you're doing. That whole thing for me is like a bit stressful because I always have to go back and count, like almost every time I make one stitch, I'm like, oh wait, I forgot what number I just did. Oh wait, what is it? Blah, blah, blah. So that was hard. But making 4 stars, not too bad compared to this next project I'm about to show you, which was, actually, no, another honorable mention first is this apple keychain that I made. I don't know, it's cute. And this is RJ. Another honorable mention, this leaf, I don't know what you call this. Well, it's a sprout, actually. It's a sprout bookmark headphone thing that you put on your headphones, and it looks like your dirt. This is one of the first things I made as a beginner as well. I would say, I personally think this is a good beginner project to make because it has like almost all of the stitches. I think it might have most of the stitches. It was my first time doing a treble crochet, but you do most of the stitches in this work, and it's super small, so it's not like it's gonna take you a long time. If you mess up, you can recreate it. It's, yeah, I think it's a very cute first project, and I did decently well. The most recent thing, I just did this last week, and this was, I won't say it was the bane of my existence. I finished this thing in 2 days total, and I did the bulk of it in 1 day. It was definitely stressful. I think my upper body, like my arms and my back, still hurt from just making a million granny squares for this. But I actually don't know what you call this. It's almost a balaclava. It's a bonnet, a balaclava, and a hooded scarf in one. So this is actually my second take on making a bonnet, but then I decided that I don't really like bonnets that much. And so I was like, okay, what can I do to this to make it so that I'll actually wear it in the future? Added a scarf on the bottom of it. The scarf is 13 granny squares total, and the hood slash bonnet part, I don't know, is 7 squares. I have a bone to pick. I have a bone to pick with people that constantly say the granny squares are so hard to make. Like, it's not complicated. I don't understand like the overwhelming frustration with like the magic circle and making granny squares. Now actually, magic circle, I will say, doing it like this, like on the back of your hand, I think that is so freaking difficult. I always do it on the front of my hand, and that has made it like the easiest thing in the world for me. I think if you do it any other way, it's probably gonna be very hard to do. But the magic circle and a granny square, super easy in my opinion. You're just making corners and shells. You're doing the same thing over and over again, just for different rows, and the number increases as you go up. You know what I mean? Like it's really not that difficult, but I'm also saying that because I did much harder things before I did this granny square bonnet scarf thing, so that's probably why I found it so easy. I would say as a beginner, one of the things I'm having trouble with is like weaving in the ends, or like I don't know, there's just so many ends on these granny squares because I changed the colors, so I don't know what to do about that. I hot glued actually the ones on the inside in the hood, but there's like 13 more that I just, you know, that's too much. It's just too much. I have not worn this out yet. It does fit pretty nicely. I don't know if I just have a big head, but I feel like 7 granny squares is not enough to cover your head properly. Or maybe it's just that 4 rows on the granny square maybe isn't enough. Maybe do 5 if you have a larger head. 5 or 6 maybe, I don't know. But it fits decently well. I don't really like the scarf part of it, so I'll probably wrap it up like a balaclava. I realized after I made 13 granny squares that I could have just made 1 extra one and put it right here to just make a balaclava, and it would have the same effect. Okay, the final thing that I'm still making, actually, I haven't finished it, is a cat bed. This is actually supposed to be like a cat cave. I don't know if it'll be like that because obviously, you know, it can't stand up on its own. And I thought about, so here's my theory, and I'm hoping if I post this video and enough people see it, maybe someone will give me advice. I do have fabric, so I feel like I could glue it or sew it on the inside, fill it up with stuffing, close it, and do that on all the edges, and then it would stand up properly. I'm thinking that will work. If there's an easier solution, please let me know. I don't know if this is a lot or not a lot at all for a beginner, but this is what I've made. It makes me feel so much more productive, even if I am just like at home watching a show, to just like crochet and make something, because at least I'm like creating something and learning a new skill and getting better at it. And honestly, crocheting has made me feel a lot better about myself and like my abilities to do things. Like I feel like a cool gal. I feel like a cool person when I'm able to like finish something, finish it well and fast. It's like, hey, create more than you consume, and I think you'll feel a lot better mentally. Even if you have to pair up the two and crochet and watch your favorite show or whatever, it's still doing something. You're doing something and you're creating something that'll probably make you feel better. I know I think I like the result of crocheting more than the act of doing it. It's good to create things even if it's something that the world won't even see one day. It's just like beneficial for you. I think it's really good for human beings to have things that they're like proud of, because it gives you a sense of like confidence and ego and pride, you know what I mean? It just makes you feel better as a person. Yeah, so that's all I made. Bye guys.